Welcome back. The doctor is in. We're talking kids with Dr. Caitlin Iddings, and a very interesting topic today. I know I hadn't heard of it before you sent it to me. Chroming. So when people inhale toxic vapors like aerosols or paint thinners, things like that, and it's becoming an internet trend, things kids are doing now. So talk to us more about kind of what chroming is.
Yeah, so chroming is not necessarily a new thing. You know, back in the day they would call it huffing, kind of peaked in the 90s, and then there had been this trend where it was sort of going down, right? And then with TikTok and social media, it has become much more of a problem, especially with younger demographics. So there was a recent study that came out that said on TikTok there were like 25 million views with this like hashtag chroming type thing, and that 39% of the kids that had made that content on social media were under 18. So I mean, that's a good portion that are younger, and it is kind of thought to be, you know, the younger drug, right? Because it's readily available, it's not illegal, you can go buy it in stores. Most common thing that kids are chroming is Sharpies, so like permanent markers are a big one, nail polish, of course spray paints. So the chroming is the thought that, you know, you're huffing metallic paint and then it leaves this sort of chromy looking appearance on your face. So that's why they call it, you know, chroming.
Interesting. Okay, so, and this is becoming a trend on the internet. I mean, you said it, 25 million views, and a high percentage of that kids under 18. So what do we do to stop that?
Yeah, so as with anything, we need to be aware of what our kids are watching on social media, making sure that we're kind of having those conversations along the way. You know, just little things that you're like, oh, you're talking to your 8-year-old about, we got to be careful with the Sharpies, let's make sure we put the lids back on. That can be bad. If you inhale it, it can hurt your brain. There have been some deaths reported from this more recently. Back in March, a kid in the United Kingdom, some in Australia, and then a couple here. So it is something that kids are doing at sleepovers because this stuff is readily available. So just making sure that you're talking to your kids about this can be dangerous. It can be something that can cause brain death, cardiac death with just a first-time use because it's not something that your brain's used to.
Absolutely. And you talked about the chrome look on the face. What other side effects happen when you chrome?
Yeah, so it does give you sort of that short euphoric high, which can be addictive for young kids because, you know, it's sort of a short thing. It lasts several minutes to an hour, and then they feel like they have to hit it again, and that repeated use can cause those issues. It can cause, you know, nose sores, mouth sores, frequent nosebleeds. If your kid's suddenly like having frequent nosebleeds and nose sores, and you're like, oh, they're buying all this nail polish or spray paint, but not really making art or painting their nails. I mean, those are things that you need to really be kind of watching out for.
That's good to know. And do you have any tips for parents on, other than watching out for those things, you know, just keeping your kids safe from things like this, like internet trends, and, you know, kind of following suit into peer pressure?
Yeah, so talking to them about it, and then also just being aware of what's around your house, right? So I mean, if you have paint cans that you aren't using, like lock them away or just get rid of them. If you're like, we're done with this, we're not using it anymore. Keeping your nail polish under wraps, all of those things. I mean, Sharpies seem kind of like, how do I keep Sharpies away from my kid? But just, again, trying to make sure that you're keeping an eye on what's around your house. Do you need it around your house? What can you get rid of?
Good to know. Well, Dr. Caitlin, thank you so much for coming in today and talking to us about this. Make sure you all stay with us. We're going to have more Good Morning Kentucky next.